Hello, and welcome to your 20-minute yin class. And as I'm recording this, it is like the Christmas season. We're in December, and this poem that I'm about to read you really speaks to me right now, which is called Invisible Work by Alison Luterman. And so today's class also is going to be centered around really just nourishing and taking care of you. So we'll be doing a lot of restorative poses in this class, and coming back to the self, especially because at least what I'm experiencing and I have been experiencing since becoming a mother is that Christmas is a wonderful, magical time of year. And it takes a lot of work, at least from me, to make it that way. So maybe you're feeling this too, maybe you're not. But this is kind of where I'm at right now, and so I want to share this with you in case you are too. So here's the poem. It's called Invisible Work by Alison Luterman, as I mentioned. Because no one could ever praise me enough, because I don't mean these poems only, but the unseen, unbelievable effort it takes to live, the life that goes on between them. I think of all the time about invisible work, about the young mother on welfare I interviewed years ago who said, "It's hard. You bring him to the park, run rings around yourself to keep him safe, cut hot dogs into bite-sized pieces for dinner, and there's no one to say what a good job you're doing, how you were patient and loving for the 1,000th time, even though you had a headache." And I, who am used to feeling sorry for myself, because I'm lonely, when all the while, as the Chip-Away poem says, I am being carried by the great winds across the sky, thought of the invisible work that stitches up this world, day and night, the slow, unglamorous work of healing, the way worms in the garden tunnel ceaselessly so the earth can breathe, and bees ransack this world into being, while owls and poets stalk shadows, our loneliest labors under the moon. There are mothers for everything, and the sea is a mother too, whispering and whispering to us long after we've stopped listening. I stopped and let myself lean a moment against the blue shoulder of the air. The work of my heart is the work of the world's heart. There is no other art. And every time we are getting on our mat, there is this invisible work that we're doing, that healing, the coming back to the self, the processing all of the stuff that gets in our way. This is an opportunity to slow that down and do also not just the invisible work of keeping the house clean and ordering gifts and stuff, but also this way of coming back to the self. All right, so let's begin. I'll invite you to find a comfortable way to sit, and we'll do the Lotus Mudra today, Padme Mudra. So bring the index finger, the pinky fingers and thumbs to touch, as well as the wrists. And it creates this beautiful lotus flower that you'll hold at your heart. And the lotus flower is a really powerful metaphor in a lot of Eastern belief systems, and it's because lotus flowers literally grow from the muck, and not in spite of it, but because of it. And it is like that with our lives too. Like there is no growth without some suffering or pain, and no wisdom without learning the hard way, right? So it is also known as the gem or the jewel of the heart, all that is good inside of you. And so we'll just take a moment here, and I invite you to close your eyes, bow your head, and take a few long and slow deep breaths, connecting to the life that flows through your body. And as you hold your own lotus flower at your heart, also just taking a moment to reflect the goodness that is within you. That part of you that was born into this body, that has always been whole and innocent and inviolable. are so much more than just the things that you do for others every day. There is this whole universe that somehow got inside this little body that you live in. And then I invite you to fold your hands together into prayer position, Anjali Mudra, and set your intention for your practice today. And your intention can be anything that's meaningful to you. It could be cultivating something like kindness, patience, compassion, tolerance for yourself. It could be an offering of your energy to someone or something larger than yourself. It could be asking for something to come through you. Maybe it's an answer or an inspiration or a way of being. And now I invite you to join me in an Om. So I invite you to take a deep breath in. Exhale fully. Inhale. Release your hands and open your eyes. So let's get started. Okay, so the first one that we're going to do is a back bend, and this is one of my favorites. For me, a lot because I work in front of a computer, so I find I slouch a lot, and also just sitting on the floor with little kids. So bring your bolster across the width of your back, and where you'll place it is roughly about bra strap height. So you don't want it too low down into the lumbar spine. You want it to be fairly high. And then from here, you can extend your arms overhead. They may or may not touch the floor, it doesn't really matter. Most important thing here is that your back is in the right position. You can always bring a cushion under your head if it doesn't feel good or it doesn't touch the floor. And then your legs, you can either keep them flat on the floor or you can extend them out. You can bring the soles of your feet together. It doesn't really matter. You can keep the knees bent. Just find somewhere that feels good for you. And then I'll invite you to close your eyes. Now at any time if the arms overhead becomes too much, you just bring them out to the side and that is perfect. This will open up through the chest as well. And I invite you to close your eyes and allow the back of your body to begin to settle into the supports beneath you. So you might first notice your back and allowing it to soften into the bolster. Allow the legs and the hips to get heavy, the arms to get heavy. And remember, at any time you can shift this into something that's more comfortable for you. So if there's intensity and it feels good to be in that intensity, feel free to stay. If it doesn't, then find a way that it's going to be more comfortable. And this practice is all about nourishing and taking care of you. So find the ease. Allow the breath to move through the front of the body. And see if you can fill the entire front. Collarbones, belly, all the way down to your hips. And with each exhale, allowing the back of your body to settle deeper into the bolster beneath you. Allow the breath to become free and easy. And it may be helpful to comb your body for any areas of holding or tension. And with your breath, allowing those areas of holding to soften. Perhaps Perhaps exhaling into the shoulders, the chest or hips, wherever you need it. Can you offer that soothing to yourself? That soothing safety and ease. And anytime you can shift, make it stronger, make it easier, make it gentler, whatever you need. So intuitively listen. Sometimes we get stuck in these patterns within ourselves where it always has to be a certain way, whether it's working too hard or doing too much or maybe not doing enough or giving up. So just noticing these patterns within. And it just may be playing with something different today. Doesn't mean it has to be every day. You don't have to sacrifice it all, those coping mechanisms that we have, but maybe just see if you can try something different today, just in this one practice. And just staying with your breath. Last few moments here. And I invite you to slowly roll to your one side. Gentle, gentle. And then from here we're going to come into a side stretch. So whatever side you're on is fine. And you'll bring the bolster underneath your waist. And you may want a pillow underneath your head, whatever you like. You can let this top hand come down onto the bottom one. This will make it a little bit stronger. And then you can either have your knees bent, whatever works for you, or you can straighten the bottom one out and let the top one come down. Or you can have both legs straight. So whatever feels right for your body, where there is enough intensity where it feels okay for you, and it doesn't have to be uber strong to be useful. We'll only be here for a few minutes and we're going to slide down a little bit further. So find your spot, find your breath, and you may find your feet don't even come together, and that's totally fine. You can use your arm as a pillow. And just breathing into your side body. Lengthening the top of the hip crest away from the low ribs. Notice if you're holding or if there's any tension. You let the bottom half of your body sink deeper into the floor, allowing you to create more space in the top half of your body. And this might be a good cue for you too. If you're not feeling a lot, you can take that bottom leg and just slide it out behind you, and then see if you can get that top knee to the floor. For me, this is making it a bit stronger anyways. And you might like it as well. Good. Now from here, I'm going to invite you to use your top hand to press yourself up a little bit. And then you're going to slide the bolster underneath your hip. So this is going to go underneath your greater trochanter, which is this largest part of your hip, and then lay down again. You can use your arm as a pillow, and you may find lots of people, their feet don't touch. You'll actually have a dangly leg. Doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with you. This is normal. Mine just happened to touch. And so you can either just let them stack like this, or like I just did before, you can slide that bottom leg out of the way. You still want the hips stacked, and then it'll give you a little bit more room for that top leg to drop down. But any of these are good. And then you can close your eyes and breathe again. If you want to stretch your arm overhead, you're welcome to do that. It doesn't really matter. Just find somewhere that feels good, and then just breathe. Breathe and enjoy. Just taking care of your body and listening. What does it need now? Does it need more? Does it need less? Do you just need to make this easy? And so much factors into these things, you know, this idea of balance, which there is none, like it's moment by moment, really. And it just has to do with listening. There's no formula for it. It's literally listening. What do I need right now? What would make this feel okay? What are my needs? And this is a difficult one for a lot of us, is just to even recognize our needs, especially if we are used to focusing outward on what other people need, looking in, what do I need? Just a few last breaths. And then you're welcome to roll right onto your belly so that your pelvis is laying on the bolster, and then just let your forehead rest onto your hands for a moment. This is a really nice restorative place. Take a few long and slow deep breaths here, and just notice what feels different in your body side to side. And then I'll invite you to roll onto the opposite side. So because the opposite side for me means I don't get to face you, I'm going to flip right over. But you don't have to. You can just make it simple. So the first one that we'll do is the side stretch. So the bolster will come underneath your waist, and you can stack your hands above your head. Your hips are going to be stacked one over the other. And you can also stagger your feet a little bit, or have the top knee down. Just find a place that you can feel a stretch happening through the side of your body. Any of these places are good. And of course, you're welcome to bring your arm down anytime and make this a nourishing and relaxing, beautiful pose for you. So I invite you to find your breath. And also bring your attention back into your body. Where is the holding and the tension? Can you find some softness? And more importantly, can you create some softness? Can you create some ease? Giving your body permission to relax. Staying with your breath. Now we're going to hop up a little bit higher onto the bolster, bringing it under the widest part of your hip, the greater trochanter. And you can use your arm as a pillow. And legs are straight. You can have the arm overhead or beside you. Your feet may or may not come down, doesn't matter. And if you would like to make, and you want to have hips stacked again. And if you'd like, you can take the bottom leg back behind you just to create a little bit more of a stretch. But any of these are good. And we'll just stay here for another few moments. Allowing the leg, that top leg, to get heavy. Just breathing through your nose. Freely and easily through your belly. And creating the conditions for ease within. Let go of those thoughts about what's after or what's ahead. Can you just stay right here in this moment It's pretty good. Long, easy breaths. From here, I'm going to invite you to flip over on your back. The back of the pelvis is going to stay on the bolster. And then we'll just take a really brief Shavasana here. So the back of the pelvis stays on the bolster, which will lift your legs up into legs up the wall. And then you can do whatever you'd like with your hands. You can rest them on your belly or at your sides. Just finding a place of ease within. Close your eyes. Notice the sensations of your body now. And the sensation of your breath. And the aliveness that's here. And also that goodness, that place within, inside of you. Remember who you are. I invite you now to draw your knees to your chest. You can slide the bolster out, away from you. Roll to your side, and then press yourself up to seated. I have no idea what's going on with my hair. Whatevs. Thank you so much for joining me in your practice today. And I look forward to seeing you in another video very soon. Namaste.